Good morning. Hello, my beautiful friends and fellow seekers. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to Coffee with the Council. Hello, Jack. Hi, Rosie. How are you? Yes, indeed. Hello, everybody. Good morning, good morning. Catherine says, how do you always have such fun, cool background? I choose based on the energy. I have all sorts of backgrounds loaded into Zoom, and I stream all of that, plus all of my audio, all the different video pieces and audio in through a program called OBS Studio, which I discovered years ago when I first started learning about streamers, video game streaming. So I love virtual backgrounds. When I started on Insight Timer, I did not have a very what did IT call it? Oh yeah, they had a training page for new teachers doing lives, and they suggested that you have a warm and inviting background, and my background was nowhere near warm and inviting. So I thought, well, let me do virtual backgrounds. They're fun, and for some reason I've always liked a certain style of them. So today I wanted the moon and the waterfalls and the beautiful little butterflies in the bottom. Felt just right. Good morning, April. Hello. Hi, Ro. Good to see you. Good afternoon to you. Hello, Sherry. Welcome, welcome. How's everybody today? How are we all feeling? This is day 8. Is this day 8? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is day 8 of Coffee with the Council. It's hard to believe. I still haven't figured out my sleep schedule yet, but I am enjoying this thoroughly. I'm going to miss meeting with everybody over the weekend, but I will also be appreciating the ability to, quote unquote, sleep in and go with the flow. How's everybody feeling after yesterday's journey? Any thoughts? Any reflections? Hello, if you're new, please say hello to us. Tell us where you're from and whether you're drinking coffee or some other delicious beverage. White spot on my shirt. Hey, Gloria. You're drinking chai seed water. Lovely. Nice to see you. Jack says, I feel in a good place, ready to shed what needs to go, move forward. Oh, beautiful. Rosie's drinking water as well. I have my beautiful water. Oh, chia seed. Chia seeds. Chia seeds in water. April's got decaf coffee. Is that your usual, April? That's not your usual, is it? We're all drinking lovely different things. Is this anyone's first time at Coffee with the Council? You already had 2 cups of caffeine. What is ashwagandha tea? That sounds like drinking the tea alone would bring you into a deep state of meditative consciousness. I love it. Looks like we're starting off with a small group today. Lovely. Anyone's very first time at Coffee with the Council or first time with me? Jack says it's an herb for relaxation and calmness. It's really delicious. Oh, and April knows what it is. That's so cool. I love that. Any thoughts about yesterday's session? For those who don't know, anyone who's been a regular at Coffee with the Council, we created a group in Insight Timer called Coffee with the Council. So, specifically to allow folks who are regularly joining for these lives to share about what they're experiencing. about what they're thinking, what they're going through, about any of the practices that are coming up, or anything like that. So, if you are enjoying Coffee with the Council, please consider joining that group on Insight Timer. You are warmly welcomed and invited. Awesome. Sherry's drinking water. Me too, Sherry. I'm on the road, currently waiting for my son to arrive with my grandson, and then turn and burn back home. Oh, okay. Got it. You're having a grandson day. I love that. Good morning, Darlene. Oh, you missed yesterday? Oh, that's okay. We missed you too. It was lovely. We, gosh, I can barely remember yesterday. Oh, the council took us on a journey. I don't know if you've ever been in my lives where I take people on journeys. It's the first time the council has ever taken us on a journey, and it was really quite lovely. It was kind of a journey that encompassed a bit of wasness, isness, a little bit of not yetness. So it was really, I don't know, you guys, everyone else who was here, tell Darlene how it was for you, please. Because I'm the one who does most of the talking here, because I'm the only one that has a mic. Yes, please feel free to share what it was about so Darlene can know. And Darlene, I do record all these and put them up in a place that I can't mention anymore. So you can always find that through my teacher profile. It's not on the tracks, it's through my link on my teacher profile. Yeah, I always, unless I'm absent-minded and forget. Well, no, actually I have the recording automated. So sometimes it takes me a few hours depending on my day to get it uploaded, but it is almost always there. Yeah, you can actually go back through all 7 days so far. Yeah. Sorry, says my son is late. I guess he knows time is an illusion. That's hilarious. Well, does anyone want to fill Darlene in on what their experience was yesterday? Jack says, oh yes, you were typing, I guess. Jack says, it was incredible. We walked along a path following a golden orb and met someone from our past. We did. We did indeed. Hello, Linda. Good to see you this morning. Yeah, it was pretty cool. Very, very nice vibe. And the way they did it was beautiful. Anyone's first time, please say hello. If you've never met me before, my name is Greg Phillips. I'm a wayfinder and a channel, and I'm here to guide people into the depths of their heart, because I believe that is where meaningful transformation truly occurs. So all of my work is geared around skipping over the thoughts and the words and getting right into our pure, essential, sacred energy. And I do that through a lot of different ways: energy readings, channeling, intuitive guidance, and this beautiful thing that we call sacred energy journeys, which are just, all of it is just beautiful. I heard this beautiful quote yesterday from one of the auditions on, I think it was Britain's Got Talent. No, Canada's Got Talent. And this girl said, she was like 14. And they said, well, why are you, what's your motivation? Why are you doing this? And she said, well, I have this thing, and my dad and I say this, and I want to change the world through my voice. And I just loved that. And she was so passionate about it. So I'm not interested in changing the world. I'm just interested in guiding people. So I want to guide the world through my heart. So that's kind of what I'm about. Today, what we're doing, this is session 8 of Coffee with the Council. The coffee has been, or the council, who's called the Council of Seven, for anyone who's never met them. Hello, Catherine. Good morning. What they've been doing is they've been talking about isness. And we've been in this introduction to isness, and they've been talking about how they're encouraging us to shift and change our relationship with time. So they talked about wasness in terms of the past, and isness and nowness in terms of the present. Isness and nowness are different, and not yetness in terms of the future. All different states of being, and it's been fascinating what they've had to share with us. And so today, I don't know what we're doing today, but we're going to get ready to call in the council soon. For those who've never met the council, they're a collective of beings, ascended masters, angels. They've said they're from other civilizations, other time-space realities, parallel dimensions, etc. They don't identify individually, and there's not just 7 of them, there's a multitude of them. But they represent 7 different energies that are essential for the spiritual evolution of humanity right now. And the first of which is love, which is one of my favorite themes. And the second, which they revealed about a month and a half ago, is unity. So I have a feeling that these sessions, they asked me to do these sessions for 30 days in April, and I committed to doing the weekdays. I have a feeling these sessions are kind of like a training program in helping us get a deeper knowing regarding the energies of love and the energies of unity. So it's been truly quite fascinating. Hello, Dana. You must be new. April says, I meant to share a synchronicity in a book I picked up yesterday. I used my book's S Oracles, turned to page from Fear by Thich Nhat Hanh. Unbelievable. It was a poem called The Here and the Now. I have arrived. I am home in the here, in the now. I am solid. I am free. And the ultimate, in the ultimate I dwell. That's lovely, April. Thank you. Good morning, Linda. So good to see you. It's hard to share about the journey through typing, isn't it, Jack? Jack says, interestingly, Greg, when I walked along the path yesterday, I was barefoot and it felt, oh God, my typing is dreadful. No, walking barefoot felt incredible. I think I received a bit of reflexology along the way. Yeah, I bet you did. All right, my friends, welcome everybody. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are from. We will get started now. So let's find out what the council has in store for us today. Dear guides and councils, Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, our dearest beloved friends. We greet you from the energetic realms where we love and celebrate each and every single experience and sensation you have in your body. We celebrate and love each and every single emotion that flows through your very being. And we celebrate and love you no matter how you feel about yourself or the things that you are experiencing in your life. Good day, happy Friday, indeed. This is session 8, 8 being a beautiful magical number. In some cultures, it means infinity. In others, it means prosperity and abundance. And in others, it's just a cool looking number. So as you can see, everything in life is about perspective, context, assigned meaning. Nothing itself inherently has any meaning unless it is assigned and agreed upon, either by at least one individual or by a collective of individuals. For indeed, this is how things come to have meaning in society, is when enough individuals are individually assigning meaning and agreeing upon it on a collective basis, then it indeed becomes a collective agreement. So there is no such thing as a collective agreement without individual definitions and assigned meanings. Do you understand what we are saying? There is no such thing as societal collective agreements without the individual. So it is truly an important piece to understand. And again, this always boils down to your power of choice. It is absolutely essential that at this time, and this time has been labeled by some as the time of choosing, so it is very appropriate and apt that we speak about this on a regular basis with you, for we wish for you to feel the sense of who you truly are in any given moment. And as we did remind several days ago, when you are considering something that you have found to be a habit, please stop for a moment and realize if you are aware of it, it is no longer a habit, it is a choice. It may be an unconscious choice or a conscious choice, but it is still a choice. Now, the more you become aware of that choice and then can claim that as your own choosing, you begin to say things like, I chose to go to bed late at that time, at that day. I chose to sleep in. I chose to arrive late to my employment. I chose not to speak my truth in that moment. I chose to allow that particular situation to unfold the way that it did, for better or for worse. It is all a choosing, my dear friends. And some of these different possibilities of choosing may be difficult to grasp that it was a choice, but there is unconscious and conscious choice. We will begin with that today, for we would like to perform an exercise, if you will, another journey of sorts. So we invite you to close your eyes, placing your feet flat on the floor, and just turn your mind's eye to the pattern of your breathing. It matters not what that pattern is, whether it is incredibly deep, incredibly shallow, natural for you, but just find a comfortable rhythm of breathing for yourself. Place your left hand on your beautiful heart chakra. And as you've done with dear Greg many times, repeat after us, tapping your hand gently on the chakra, the palm of your hand, that is. Heart, teach my mind. Heart, teach my mind. Heart, teach my mind. I am here. I am here. I am here right now. You find yourself standing outside your current abode, whatever building, house, apartment, condo, structure, hut, tent, vehicle you currently live in. You are standing outside and you are observing your abode. Whether it is yours or not is immaterial, for it is where you are sleeping, where you are resting, where you lay your head every single evening to return to merge back with Source. So it is your home. And you are simply being the mindful observer. In this particular energetic realm that you find yourself observing your abode, you find that the colors are incredibly vibrant. The blues are the bluest of blues, almost azure, if you will. The greens are practically an emerald. Yellows look like sunbursts. Oranges look like the beautifulness of the orange fruit itself. Reds as red as the reddest apple you've ever seen, etc. Take in all of these vibrant different colors. Pay attention, friends. Observe the various details of your very abode. And take it all in with a sense of appreciation in this very moment. It may not be a large amount of appreciation. It does not matter the magnitude. But simply just acknowledge, this is my current home. It just is. You may have aspects of the home that you dislike. You may have aspects of the home that you enjoy. You may not feel connected to any of it, for it may not even feel like your home. But this is currently where you are residing. Allow all the different thoughts and stories and analysis regarding your abode to slip away and simply be the mindful observer, being present outside of your abode, being present with this building or this shape or shelter that gives you shelter. And in your mind's eye or physically, dear friends, bow in thanks for the service that this particular abode provides you in this very time in life. And as you bow, you find that you're beginning to float above your house. You are floating ever higher, and you begin to see your neighborhood, the street upon which you are placed, the very subsection of the city, or the village, or the town in which you live. And as you continue to ascend and float higher and higher, you are seeing more and more. You are seeing the county or the state. You begin to see outlines of the country as you ascend higher and higher. Continent, the island that you live on, until you have flown so high into the sky, above the clouds, all the way up into space, and you can see the entirety of the school called the planet Earth. In your mind's eye, close your eyes and turn on your mind's ears. Listen closely for the sounds of planet Earth. You hear the chanting of the Tibetan monks in Tibet. You hear the bustle and hustle on the streets of Delhi. You hear all the different exotic animal sounds in the jungles, in the tropical forests of Brazil. You hear the tears of a mother who has lost a child, and the bearing stage. You hear the pleading of individuals who have recently had a spiritual experience anew, do not know what to think or what to do with themselves. You hear the music from Bangladesh. You hear the drums from the Congo. You can hear the sound of a polar bear bathing in the Arctic waters, growling and splashing. You begin to hear all of these simultaneously at once. At first it is too much to bear, for there is a cacophony of sound flooding into your consciousness. But gradually, as you are patient and present with this, you begin to recognize this as the very musical orchestration of life itself. And all of this is unfolding as you float high above the planet, and none of this is under any of your control. None of this is necessarily directly any of your doing, and yet it all is happening. It is all unfolding here and now on your very watch as you observe. And there is a certain chaotic yet semi-organized beauty to the orchestration of all these different sounds of life. It is not necessarily reminding you of a classical symphony per se, but you are beginning to feel and hear the rhythm of how all of this flows, ebbs and flows back and forth, and you are doing so by hearing and witnessing everything in its natural state here and now. Some of you may be overwhelmed still by this experience. Some of you may simply not be hearing a thing, and others may have this incredible sense of rapture as you make a deep connection with all that is currently unfolding on the planet. And you realize that although you are a small and singular individual perspective expression of Source, so is everyone and everything else, and within that there is this incredible beauty. Millions and billions and trillions of different individual perspectives of Source expressed individually and uniquely on the planet at the same time. This indeed is a grand orchestration and a synchronization that there is absolutely no way that you could be individually responsible for all of this. And within that realization, there is a deep sense of relief. You think to yourself, I get it. Since I am not responsible for anything other than myself, indeed that is why the power of choice is so important and so essential, for it is within my very own individual, uniquely perspected choices that I exist. Those choices come from my unique perspective, my unique expression of Source and all that is, not from another individual's unique expression or perspective. They come from mine. I relish having the power of my own choices. And as you begin to recognize the enormous power of this particular awareness, the earth suddenly replicates as you float above it, and replicates again and again and again and again and again, and it continues to replicate until you are absolutely surrounded, floating in space, surrounded by hundreds of thousands of millions of different planet Earths. These are all the different quote-unquote Earths that exist in different timelines and parallel realities, every single one of them filled with billions and trillions of different unique perspectives and individual choices. The grand orchestration of it all is truly profound. You realize that at any given moment on an energetic level, you have a choice of which Earth you wish to live on, for there are a whole variety of different aspects and experiences available to you. And yet at the end of the day, if you were to really truly make a choice, you would still choose this life experience that you are currently having. For it is the one that you agreed upon when you first came to be in this body. But as you float high above these hundreds of thousands of millions of different instantiations of Earth, indeed, some of them represent pasts, your very pasts. Some of them represent your future. For energetically speaking, they all exist in the same now, in the same current moment, as do you. You realize there is a deep and profound beauty to how all of this synchronously unfolds. And that if you simply let go of your attachments, your stories, your longings, your yearnings, your expectations, any particular definitions or agreements that you find upsetting, disappointing, discouraging, weighing you down, if you simply just let them go, you are there, as is, present with all that is. For you see, our dear friends, the mind can only go so far in comprehending isness. It is truly something that you must attune your heart to so that you can experience isness and know it. And you do so purely and only and solely in the now. You realize that as you are taking responsibility for the choices that you make, it is far easier to allow others, as you witness them from floating high above all of these earths, it is far easier to allow others their own choices, understanding that they have their own path and their own agreements and definitions, and that they do not have to be in agreement with you. There is nothing in life that says that everyone must be in agreement. And there is absolutely nothing in life that says that everybody must be in agreement with you. The only agreement with you that matters is you. With you. You find that you are ready to return, feet back on the ground, and you slowly descend. Play with the descent, fly if you will, spread your wings if you will, your arms out wide. Perhaps you will twirl your way down back to the surface. Perhaps you will pirouette like a ballet dancer. Perhaps you will simply float as though you are traveling on a beautiful soft cloud or pillow. Whatever way you wish to return back to the surface of the planet, you are doing so. It is with ease, no effort. You are simply just returning into the gravitational pull until your feet land one at a time, boom, boom, gently on the ground, standing before your beautiful abode. I choose to go inside now, you think to yourself, and you begin to proceed to do that. And as you move through the building and find your body, take a moment, dear friends, be the mindful observer. Look at your body. Observe how incredibly peaceful it is in this moment, freed of the mind's burdens. In this moment, your body is vibrant, whole, and sound. And even though you have left energetically to go on a journey, here sits your body, safe and sound and deeply loved. And when you're ready, at your time of choosing, return into your body in whatever fashion or manner you so choose. As your spirit settles back into your physical form, become aware of how your shoulders feel, how your legs are feeling. Reposition and stretch anything that might need it. And we will allow you several moments to reintegrate and return back into your total wholeness. But dear friends, we hope that this journey has been helpful for at least broadening your perspective on a variety of levels. There is much that occurred and that we experienced within a short period of time. So allow yourselves the weekend, our dear friends, to integrate this particular experience of business. This is not the only way to experience business. There is many others. But we applaud you at this time. We celebrate you. For now on the 8th day and within this journey, we have completed our introduction to isness. And so we will be exploring more of this, more deeply, as we proceed with Coffee with the Council. And indeed, other topics may or may not come up. We do not know, for this is truly a co-creation that is occurring with our very gathering together. We thank you for this time today. And as always, we love and celebrate you from the energetic realms for all of who you truly are, whether you are awake and aware of it all or not. And until next week, we bid you adieu. Hey, Madeline. Hi, Carolina. Jack says, beautiful, thank you. Adieu. I don't know why they're saying goodbye in French. Wow, okay. Whew. Take a moment, my friends. Whew. I need a moment. Has anyone joined us mid-transmission? Welcome. I'm so glad you're here. Thank you for joining us today. Kristen, I love that visualization above the earth and visiting everywhere. Magical. Yeah, it was pretty powerful, wasn't it? At least for me. How's that feeling, everybody? How do you feel after that? Whew. We did that before in one of my Zoom sessions. It was really... We did it differently. This time it was fascinating. Them replicating all of the Earths, like so much happening. It's really, really wild. Darlene is feeling expansive. Hello, Suleiman. Welcome to you. Rosie says, beautiful journey. I felt citizen of the world. Oh, what a neat feeling. The images were very vivid, more than the sounds. Awesome. Yeah, it's going to be different for everybody, I think. These journeys often are different for everybody based on your intuition and your personal inclinations. Jack says it was so powerful, especially when we were surrounded by so many Earths. What was powerful about that part, Jack? Sherry, I've been feeling like something huge is on the horizon. Something huge is here, Sherry. You. You are the hugeness. Darlene says, crazy, but it felt so natural to hear all the different cultures simultaneously. I could picture and feel each of them. Oh, wow. April's feeling the hugeness too. Absolutely. Do you know what that is? This is my interpretation only. That sense that it's on the horizon is that it's actually here, and it is your expansion and or a call for your expansion. I felt that way before I said yes to sharing my gifts and becoming an insight timer. I could feel that something, like I used this almost the same, something huge was on its way or something huge was on the horizon. I felt that way before the console actually came to me. It was very expansive feeling. It's connecting with all that is. It's a massive connecting to it. And I love that April's feeling that too. Jack says, I never thought of parallels or other realms in this way before. It was a great visualization. Oh, wonderful. Did anybody have a difficult experience? Sometimes the hearing of all the sounds or seeing of all the imagery at the same time is not easy. April says her dreams are so vivid lately. I had a dream about rowing and I was part of a crew. I was told, you're up. Oh, that's amazing. Wow. Love that. You're up. It's your turn. You're on the crew and it's your turn. Love that for you. I love hearing people's unfoldings and ahas. April says she had to row and felt the weight of responsibility. Oh, interesting. The weight of responsibility. Anybody have any questions about what they experienced? Madeline says that the mother crying hit her emotionally. Yeah, I imagine it would. Like the grasshopper. Yes. So what is that leap, April? Is it simply a leap of faith, of trusting the synchronicity of life? Or is there some action that you are wishing to also bring along with that leap? Something you've known, perhaps? Madeline, what happened after the mother crying hit you emotionally? What happened for you? Rose says, I just dissolved into everything and nothing but felt connected. That is so beautiful, Ro. I love that. I don't have much more to say, my dear friends. How about that for a way to wrap up the introduction to isness? Wonder what aspects of isness and whatnot the council will get into next. Madeline says, since my best friend lost her baby on February 5th, my heart... Yeah, spelling? I don't know what that is. Yeah, nephew. Oh, your nephew. Got it. Oh, yes, nephew. Nephew is the English spelling of it. Oh, wow. Yeah, so that speaks personally to you. That's powerful. Can you see, Madeline, that even though that you feel the emotion of that, that is indeed that particular soul's path, right? For reasons that we cannot fully know. We do not know other individuals' paths. Madeline says, and yesterday another friend shared she is going to 20-year-old girl's funeral tomorrow. Yeah. Many hugs and hearts for Madeline and her friends. But even within that experience, my dear, there are choices, there are definitions. See, I'm weird compared to other people. I'm not scared of death. I don't view it as a bad thing. I don't have any negative definitions around it. In fact, I felt closer to my mother after she died than I ever did in my entire life with her, or her entire life with me. So I'm very comfortable with death. It actually feels like just another phase of being to me. So even though I can emotionally relate or recognize how people would feel emotionally around deaths, tragic or otherwise, I don't have any set meaning around it other than a good one, other than a beneficial one. In fact, there's a small part of me that's a smidge jealous of the people who pass on because they get to go back to the non-physical and be free of all the personality, fear, story, and all that, even if just for a bit before they come back again for another life. "9 months and completely healthy and happy." Yeah, well, again, this, when we think about witnessing that from floating up high above the planet, right? We do not know what agreements were made between this baby, the spirit of this baby, and the mother. Perhaps the baby's entire existence was to shift her perspective, to help her shift her awareness. Maybe this will be part and parcel to an emotional growth experience or a spiritual awakening for her. We don't know. Maybe it'll send her spiraling, which then will lead to a spiritual awakening down the road. We just don't know. We cannot assume that it's a good or a bad thing. It just is. It's like has anyone ever heard me tell the story of the farmer? I'm going to tell this story and then we're going to wrap up, because this story, this fable from, I believe it's China, that I first read in a beautiful book by Anthony de Mello called The Song of the Bird. This story encompasses the perspective that I believe the council is encouraging us to have when we look at all that is. Let me first read what you guys are saying. April says, I'm overcoming fear of death, but my fear is not taking the risks I know I must take before it's too late. Not taking the risks I know I must take before it's too late. Indeed, I can relate to that. Kristen says, same mom passed of Alzheimer's, and she came through much stronger when she passed, and I'm so grateful. Miss her terribly, but grateful for her strong spirit back. Oh, that's beautiful. Christine also says, I agree. When I was a kid, I used to feel jealous of people who died. Yeah. Yeah, Madeline, I think that the council might have something to say, but I'm looking at the time and I don't know if we have enough time to ask them, but I will tell this story because I think it will really be helpful. Catherine says, say one more time what happens before we come back. I'm not sure what you mean, Catherine. Yes, maybe yes, indeed. We do not know, Madeline. Maybe the council mentioned that detail specifically for you or someone else so that we could have this conversation now. From the dead? I'm not sure what you're asking, Catherine. Maybe help clarify it for me. Meanwhile, I'll tell this story. So, there was this farmer who lived in a rural town in China, and he had one horse, a couple cows, a sheep. He had an oldest son and a youngest son, beautiful wife, and he was a simple man, quite content. And one day, his only horse ran away, and all the villagers in the town came to him and they said, oh, farmer, that is bad luck. That is such bad luck. We are so sorry to hear that that happened for you. And the farmer just looked at them blankly and said, good luck, bad luck, who knows? And about 2 days later, his horse returned with a herd of wild horses. And the town's villagers were like, oh, farmer, that is such great news. You were so blessed. You're so lucky. We can't believe it. That's amazing. Look at all those amazing horses you have now. And the farmer just simply shook his head and said, good luck, bad luck, who knows? About a week later, his eldest son was training one of the wild stallions, and he got bucked off and thrown to the ground, and he broke his leg. And of course, we know what all the villagers were going to say. Oh, that is such bad luck. We're so sorry to hear about that. It is such bad luck. And the farmer simply said, good luck, bad luck, who knows? And the villagers walked away quite stumped, because at this point, they just couldn't understand or couldn't relate to the farmer's perspective. They just didn't know what was going on there. About a week later, the army came through the village, conscripting every able-bodied young man. But they passed over his eldest son because the leg was broken. So is that good luck? Bad luck? Who knows? Think about that, my friends. This is truly, the farmer is truly embodying nowness and the recognition of all that is. He's in the isness of that experience, and he's not succumbing to assigning a definition to any particular one of these experiences which unfolded. Because the reality of it is that even if you were just looking within time and space, not just living in the moment, but if you were wedded to time and space, if you still held this perspective of good luck, bad luck, who knows, then every unfolding has the possibility of being whatever you want it to be. The villagers were in the polarity of it, the duality of it. They had a definition that a bad experience was a bad experience, and yet each bad experience led to what they thought was a good experience, and each good experience led to what they thought was a bad experience. So who's right and who's wrong? There isn't any. It's all simply how each individual has defined it. So Catherine says, you said we pass away and then something happens before we come back. Did I say that? Maybe I did. I don't remember. Oh, well, yeah. When you leave the physical body and you return to being purely non-physical, you're freed of all the personality restraints and constraints. You're freed of all your stories and your fears and all analysis, because that all lives in the body. That's all part of the physical mind. That's not part of your higher mind. It's not part of your true essence as a spirit and a soul. So when you shed the physical body, and the way that I like to think about it is, it's not that the spirit and the soul is stored within the body. The body is not the vessel for the soul. The soul is the vessel for the body. I love thinking about it this way. If you consider the soul as a large bubble or as a large sphere that exists at a higher vibrational level and that you've never actually left, but that portions of that soul with a unique perspective have been focused and condensed in a way into the third dimension, into the third density, so that you actually can become a body, then what is actually happening is that the body is forming from within inside the soul. So when you shed the body, when you quote unquote die, or as Abraham loves to jokingly say, when you croak, you know, and you're done with this physical life, then you're actually, it's not like the body crumbles and disappears. It's like it dissipates back and the soul raises its vibration again, because you have to the soul has to lower its vibration and focus itself into a denser vibrational frequency in order to become physical, right? Because the soul exists outside of the third and the fourth dimensions. And so in order to become physical and to have a particular perspective, it focuses down, condenses and consolidates into a physical form. So think about it more like a strand that is infusing the body rather than as a orb that the body holds as a vessel. For me, it's the other way around. However you define it. I also thought it was interesting that they said we don't create it all. I thought the understanding was that we do create it all. We create all of our own reality, but we're not responsible for other people's reality. Does that, I mean, short answer, but hopefully that resonated and made sense. Yeah. That's where interesting things like paradox start coming in. I'm responsible for my reality, but when we come together here, we're agreeing to have a certain experience together called Coffee with the Council. And yet I'm responsible for my reality. I used to think about it years ago. I used to think about it this way. We all come together for a meeting or a group session or whatever, but then when we go our separate ways, I'm not responsible for what you do in your life. I don't know what you're going to do next. I'm not the one making your choices. That's where I think it's so important to separate that out. I'm not responsible for the choices of anything or anybody else, any group or individual in the rest of the world. I don't have that particular power. Where the power resides in how my spirit is focusing in my life, because I came in to have a specific set of experiences. I came in with a specific set of agreements that I made that I wanted to have a certain experience. Now, sometimes we talk about soul families and whatnot. Sometimes we come in as soul families, we come in together in order to have certain shared experiences, but we're still individually responsible for all the choices that we're individually making. But we did have an agreement that, like, I believe right here, all of us agreed to come together on some form, an insight timer or whatever was created at some point, right? In order to create and raise our vibration together, in order to expand our hearts, to expand our awareness. Like, that's pretty amazing. But still, the minute I shut off the stream, all 60 of us are going individual ways. You know, years ago when I first started to get move away from a concept of God and more into a higher power and things like that, I started to have this sense, because I was evolving through having had trying to control my whole life. So there's a huge difference between trying to control life and having the power of choice of what to think and the power of choice of perspective. Those are very, very different, and I won't get into it now. Thanks, Jack. She says, you're so eloquent and articulate, Greg. It's such a pleasure to listen to you. Thank you, Jack. It's nice to hear. Madeline says, could it be that he paved the way for the next baby energetically somehow? That is also a possibility, Madeline. See, that is a great way to think. What are all the different possibilities? Oh, Madeline just gave us an amazing example. Thank you, Madeline. So within the power of choice, if you can always find a way, if you can use the power of your mind, which is a good use for the mind, to look and consider all the different possibilities and perspectives, you will begin to see that every single experience that you have, within each experience is the potential for a beneficial outcome. Within each experience, there's also the potential for a negative, non-beneficial outcome. But if you make the choice to always seek the beneficial outcome of everything you experience, no matter how good or bad it feels, then you will bring a certain level of peace and serenity to your existence, to your life, to your body, to anything that unfolds in your creation of your life. I'll give you an example. 2008. No, not 2008. Sorry, 2011. Thanksgiving 2011. I got a note from my brother saying that my mom was pretty ill, that the doctors wanted to try certain things, but that at the point that she was at, they didn't know whether those procedures would be life-threatening or not, and so there was a huge amount of uncertainty. And I knew at that moment that she was dying. And I was in the throes of having lost everything from that started at the end of 2008. So 3 years prior, I'd lost everything and gone on this crazy adventure of sleeping in my car, house sitting for friends, house hopping, just certain people letting me stay at their place for however many months, etc. All sorts of transition, constant uncertainty, and a lot of loss and a lot of pain, which thankfully is no longer, I don't identify with it anymore. Anyways, come January 2012, my mom had moved into hospice because at least one of her doctors was just a straight shooter with her and said, look, you can do any of these things. Is your body going to hold up? We don't know. But we also don't think that you've got more than 3 to 6 months left. So she went into hospice January 3rd, 2012. And about 8 days later, I get this weird note from the person who was letting me stay at one of their apartments that just was absolutely bizarre, and they wanted me out in 24 hours because the details don't matter. They wanted me out in 24 hours, and I panicked. And I called my best friend at the time, and she said, honey, this is an opportunity. I get that you're upset. I get that this is scary, and I get that you're panicking, but this is an opportunity. Your family has offered to buy you a one-way flight back home. You didn't think you'd be able to get back home to see your mom before she dies. Now the universe has synchronously aligned things so that you need to leave the place you're staying in within 24 hours, and you don't have anywhere else to be, so you can go and spend time with your mom. Very few people who are very, very busy in their lives have that precious opportunity to be with their parents as they die. And I was like, oh my God, sweetheart, you're so right. I got off the phone with her and I called my family and I said, you offered me a plane ticket. I would love to come back. Can I stay at the hospice with my mom? Because I knew I didn't want to stay with my brother. I'm not comfortable in his particular physical environment. And anyways, everything just synchronously unfolded. I got to actually live at the hospice for 3 months with my mom while she died. Again, good luck, bad luck, who knows? And I didn't even know at that time. I knew to look for the best in all things, but I didn't understand what I now understand, having learned from other people on Inside Timer, from Bashar and others that I've studied with, and myself, and of course learning from the council directly. So I just share that as an example that we just never know. So Madeline, thank you for prompting that incredible example. Yes, indeed. Madeline also says, or he chose to specifically experience so much love in the safety of the womb and only stay so short on this earth. Yeah, and we do not know how, in what way that soul agreed to do whatever it was necessary regarding the mother. Even before I was informed about the tragic loss, says Madeline, I had been practicing expanding my heart to hold all the emotions, which definitely helps. It still feels so heartbreaking, and I'm crying still, honestly. And that's okay, sweetheart. Allow the energy in motion, the emotion to move. Where we cause some of our worst suffering, mentally, emotionally, and physically, is when we do not allow those emotions to move. It's just energy. It wants to move. I love crying. I know, I'm a weird man. I love crying. I do. I love crying. I feel better after I cry. Always. And it doesn't even matter why I'm crying. I don't need a why. I'm crying. I love Bashar's definition of crying. It's the body releasing the toxins that have been built up from our belief systems. The body releasing the toxins that have been built up from our negative beliefs. Isn't that wild? It's a cool definition. Oh, April, that's sweet. Grief is what happens when the ice on your heart melts. Anyways, my friends, we've been at it for an hour. Another great session. Thank you so much for being here. If you love this session, if you found your heart touched, if you took value away from it, or had a new insight or a shift of any kind, and you are not currently following me, I invite and welcome you to follow me. I'm excited because we're getting close to a very magical number. I'm at like 870 some odd followers, and I'm kind of excited to reach 888. I love duplicating numbers. I also love eights. So if you haven't followed, I invite and welcome you to follow me and check out the rest of my stuff here on Insight Timer. There will be more coming from the council next week. Come back and join us again, same time, Monday through Friday for all of April. I do have a feeling, you guys let me know what you would like, but I mean, let me know if you'd like these kind of sessions to continue after April. I still think I'm still adjusting to the early hour for me, but it's been so much fun for me and so fulfilling to just spend this time together with you guys. And I have a feeling that this is going to evolve into much, much more. So also, because I mentioned it early and now we have other people here, we have a new group on Inside Timer called called the Coffee with the Council. If you want to share your experiences with others from this group about Coffee with the Council, stuff that you've been learning about isness, wasness, anything we've been talking about, the power of choice, please feel free to join that group on Inside Timer and share whatever you want to feel and just support each other. I made that group not for me. I have my own group where I communicate things to you guys, but that I made it for you guys to have a gathering place where you could share. Oh, thanks, Ro. And Rosie, thank you. You're welcome. You're welcome. You're welcome. Oh, Catherine, yes, please. It could be a different time too. It could be a different time. I'm thinking of going back to a time. Well, one of my common times was 1 or 2 p.m. my time, Mountain Time, which I know is later, a smidge later in Europe. But it works so that our friends, as I call our friends from the future, our friends across the timeline in Australia and New Zealand can also join, because they can't join at this time here. Oh, Madeline, you are so... Thank you for sharing you with us, sharing your heart. I really love that. April, can we ask the council about spiritual initiations? Christine, you're new this week. Okay, wonderful. April, I'm not quite sure what you mean, but we can certainly ask them, but not today. I'm wanting to keep this to no more than an hour, even though I only scheduled a half an hour. Might need to schedule this for an hour longer or a half an hour longer, so that people can come in part way, because I think after the half hour scheduled time, they're not allowed actually in the live. Yes, you can send me a message. April, are you on my newsletter? We do a questions for the council every month. We do a recording where folks from my newsletter only can ask those kind of questions. I also do private readings or personal readings, so this may be something you want to have a bigger conversation with the council about, and those are two opportunities, ways to do that. My dear friends, I have so much love and appreciation for you. Thank you so much. You signed up for a newsletter. Oh, okay. I'm not sure if you're in mine. I'm going to be sending out a new... I'm not supposed to be talking about outside things too much, but you did ask a question, and that is the answer. So, okay. Very, very cool. Yes. You can use that then to send me a question for the council. And that'd be great, because nobody's sent a question for the council yet this month. Oh, you're welcome, Christian. Thank you for your time and for your presence. I so love how we all gather together in service of one another and support and love, and just in interest of our own growth and expansion. It just really, it's so fulfilling for me. I mean, like I said at the beginning, I'm here to guide people into the depths of their hearts, and you guys are that example, and I so appreciate that. So with that said, I need to go on to the rest of my day. Oh, you are welcome, Madeline. And I will all see you either at somebody else's live this weekend or again on Monday morning. Thank you so much for being here. Do take care of your hearts and have a great weekend. Bye.